Hello, and welcome to today's AI news for Still Team Human for August 12, 2026. I am going to talk with you today about an article that was in The Guardian that had a very provocative headline. AI was supposed to destroy jobs. Where's the carnage? The point is that The Guardian has found we never arrived at the job apocalypse that we were expecting at the start of this year. None of us are really losing our jobs to machines. We don't have this tremendous unemployment number to share, and we're not, all going crazy about how we're going to afford to live in the age of artificial intelligence. Um, Yes, Dario Amodei and Sam Altman both suggested that this was going to happen, and it hasn't happened. But I would argue it hasn't happened yet, and it might not happen in the way we expect. It might not be this one big wipeout in a day. Do you know what I mean? It might end up being something slower. It might be industry by industry as the AI advances. I've already mentioned many times that as a writer, I see it taking jobs from people like me. And the article itself did use this very provocative headline to get us to enter and join them and in this conversation, in this um, bit of news. However, if you read further, it is more nuanced than that. And a lot of this came about because of data from a recent Stanford Institute for Economic Policy research analysis. And one of the people from that report really struck me. Quote, it took decades for the computer revolution to fully transform labor markets and the workforce, and what we're seeing right now looks a lot like that. This is from Erica McEntefar, fellow at the Stanford Institute and a co-author of that paper. And I get what Erica is saying because it's true. We've studied what happened when the printing press came about. Some of us lived through what happened when the internet boom was happening. Our jobs changed, but it wasn't overnight. It took time. And then after a long time, you really saw the dramatic changes that took place. It looked nothing like what work did previously. And our jobs looked nothing like what they did previously. So I get that. That's definitely happening. It's underway. However, there are other points to be made. One of them was that AI is shifting more jobs to freelance and contract work. And I do believe that to be true. Been my own experience as well. I've been looking for full-time jobs, and it just seems much easier to get contract work at the moment, especially for what I'm doing, which, like I said, can easily be replicated by AI. It won't be as good because I don't think AI has outpaced the humans when it comes to writing yet. However, it could get the job done depending on what you need written. Then another bit of this information, this nuance that was added to this article. The fact is that maybe people aren't getting laid off or losing their jobs. They're just not getting hired in the first place. And we have seen that with undergraduates seeking jobs right after school. They haven't been able to get those, super internships like I had when I first got out of school, or, those entry level assistant type jobs that help you get your foot in the door, get your feet wet, and gain experience. And this has a lot of problems from a societal point of view, too. I think it's going to beg the question about whether college is relevant, whether we need to get a degree. Someone who is a child of immigrants and believes in education being the end all and be all, really, it's very hard to say this, but I don't think you can get the ROI that you once did on college. There's no question about that. And we see it playing out in the economics of families today. Um, they're still paying student loans years after finishing school, and they're not able to buy houses, and things just aren't looking as great for college grads as they once did. It used to be a guarantee. Now it's a weak promise. I don't want to go that far because I do think there's va validity to education and certainly to education at the top programs where your network will help you get a foot in the door and the name will help you get a foot in the door. However, this is definitely putting college in question, and it is making a problem for those undergrads. They're not getting hired, and they are moving in with their parents, and we've written about that in numerous publications. Um, so, it also might depend on the occupation that you're in. The tech sector has faced, I would say, some carnage, and I think that's a fair way to paint the picture. And we can see people like Meta, for instance, Mark Zuckerberg. He has admitted that he laid off people because of the heavy investment in AI. Now, does it mean that the AI is directly taking over those human jobs? I'm not sure about that. But it definitely means that spending money on AI was more important than keeping humans employed. And that's certainly happening. And we had this discussion with Wayne Butterfield. He believes this is a lot of BS, that this technology is going to create more jobs than it is going to lose for us. I don't believe that either. I don't believe it's going to create more jobs. However, there are different jobs being created. There's no question about that. And as this article in The Guardian points out, people need to know AI and understand how to use it, at least to some extent, as they are going through the hiring process. And the article pointed out that some hiring managers might not even explicitly say you need AI skills. Instead, they might just say you need to be efficient, more productive, and so on. So, the point of this and the reason I wanted to share this with you is yes, we have not seen the carnage. We're not all losing our jobs, and unemployment hasn't skyrocketed because of AI. However, everything is changing and changing quicker than we probably would like, but slower than imagined by the job apocalypse version of events. And therefore, we still have to adapt and adopt and, start making our way through the world knowing that our job is going to be different, even a year or two from now than it is right now. So let me know what you think in the comments. I will leave a link to the Guardian article below, and I will see you for the next Today's AI News for Still Team Human. Thanks so much.